Scarpins Avenue.
Hey everybody, welcome to Scarborough Country, the Virus Edition, Episode 3. This is our third day doing this. How you doing?
Pandy Pods.
Pandy Pods in effect. The stash is still going.
I'm growing a...
Playoff beard?
No, a pandemic beard, but it turned into a playoff beard.
So here's the point of this podcast. We're giving you 30 minutes approximately every day where you can just turn it all off.
Forget about the charts. Forget about the rising
Anytime
numbers.
I see a chart and I just start to get like nervous.
You get mad at the person who made it. You're
I'm
like,
like,
why'd
well,
you make that chart?
I don't need to see a bar graph.
Hey,
about how
Joe,
bad-
USA Today, stop making charts, bro.
So that is...
Come on, bro.
That is the environment with which we bring forth Scarborough Country, the Virus Edition, which is our chance to just try and make you laugh about things that are going on in this world right now.
We're trying to get better at it every day. Look, we've already figured out how to lose a lot of the headroom in the video. Maybe you're a little closer to us. You can see how large our foreheads are.
Instead of max headroom, this is min headroom.
Min headroom. We're going to talk about things that are affecting the world.
Remember that on Cheap Seats?
I
The
do.
min?
The min. Just because one guy misspoke, we created a whole thing.
I guess we can also call this Two Guys, One Couch.
Look, I voted for that, and we'll see what you guys think. Still accepting offers for names for this podcast.
Come quarantine with us.
Sklarantine, if you want to ask us questions, hit us up on Twitter.
We're at Sklar Brothers. You can ask us whatever you want to ask us, and we can. Last night, our buddy Jay Logic, who does the music episode of View from the Cheap Seats with us, suggested that we all follow our buddy Questlove, who was doing a live sort of broadcast, slow jam broadcast from his apartment as he was DJing a set. It was
magic,
unbelievable. I learned more in like 25 minutes than I think I would in an entire freshman year of music theory.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So thank you, Questlove. Thank you, Logic, for turning me on to that. There's a lot of great stuff out there in the world. So just follow Questlove on Instagram, and he'll maybe let you know when he's going to do another one of those live
Follow
ones.
him on Instagram just to see his remix of Kawhi Leonard's
You got to go back in his feed.
shot that beat, I guess, Philadelphia, was that?
Yeah,
Who
beat
they
Philadelphia in
where the
Philadelphia.
Raptors beat
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
It was
Kawhi
in
goes to
Toronto.
the corner. It was in Toronto.
Crazy.
And it was
Last second shot and
Kevin
just-
Harlan's call mixed with the shot, mixed with what Questlove did with it from a DJ perspective.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic. Well worth
Unbelievable.
watching.
The merging of sports and music in a way that we love so much. And it was comedic in many ways.
Yes.
Lots to talk about today. We want to get into, first things first, kind of the information that is being given out, because I feel like now cities are feeling like, and local governments are feeling like they got to cover all bases.
We got to be the explainers.
Yeah.
We got to
So-
tell you people how to act, because really, in many ways, I feel like
People are animals.
people cannot be trusted.
They can't be trusted.
They cannot be trusted left to their own devices. I mean, look at us. This looks like we're 1 foot apart. We're actually 6 feet apart.
This is a
It's the
6-foot
angle.
couch.
It's the angle. We can't be trusted.
New York City Health Administration, I'm going to read this, put out a 2-page memo. Good for them for still putting out memos.
Put out that memo.
They're putting out memos.
Barb, can you mimeograph that? And we'll pass them out.
Putting out fires and putting out memos.
memos.
The New York City Health Administration. Okay. That basically detailing how you can stay safe while having sex.
I saw this.
In the time of the pandemic. Sex in the time of the pandemic is fantastic.
When we were, what was it, 1992? Johnny, what was his name? Johnny Cavs?
Yeah.
Was that his name? A St. Louis comedian.
Yeah.
Used to come on stage, and his opening bit was he would just walk around the stage and just say, sex in the 90s. Sex in the 90s.
I mean, he waited so long.
Sex in the 90s. Then what was the punchline of that?
Is anybody having it? Because I'm not. It's funny. All right. Rule number 1.
This is from the New York
The 2-page
Health
memo. We
Administration.
got our hands on the memo.
Rule number 1.
Stay away from David Duchovny.
Hey,
And that's
hold on a second.
wherever you go.
Wait a minute. Because that guy's been with a lot of people. All right.
Rule number 2. You are your safest sex partner. It's essentially saying self-love.
They said They actually went one step further and they said practice masturbation.
Practice.
I don't think a lot of people need
Practice.
practice. We talking about
practice?
practice.
Masturbation itself is practice.
Not a game. Not
You know
a
what I'm saying?
game. Not a game that I stake my life on.
Masturbation is in many ways.
We talking about practice.
Masturbation is a full pads.
I mean, we talking about
run.
practice.
It's a scrimmage for sex.
We talking about practice.
Is it not sex is scrimmage?
It's a half court scrimmage.
It's a
That's what masturbation is.
Masturbation may be
half court. You got to take it back if you get the rebound.
maybe the 3-on-3 Ice Cube League.
Yes.
Of sex.
Well, wasn't it Woody Allen? I think it was Annie Hall when he said, "Hey, don't knock masturbation. It's sex with someone I love." And then he married his stepdaughter.
And then he wrote a book about it that just got released this week. Full release.
Full release on Woodman's book.
I think a lot of people need practice, but maybe not at masturbation.
All right, so they're saying practice masturbation. Sex with yourself is the safest.
Yeah.
Then the next safest thing they said was sex with someone in your house. I think you need to be more specific,
Come on.
especially for Woody Allen.
Exactly.
Like, let's be more specific.
I think
on
this
that
is
front.
what got him in trouble.
Sex with someone in your house.
Maybe he read the memo.
How about
several
sex
years.
with your partner in your house? That's your next one.
There are hundreds of people who are crushed by this news.
Well, so why? Because they want to go anywhere? No,
Yes.
I think the other thing that they said was avoid group sex situations.
Yeah, avoid the orgy.
Avoid.
But how many people are walking out and being like, "Look, man,
Before this pandemic, man, it was orgies all over the place.
I can't swing an infected Wuhan bat without hitting an orgy."
I mean, nobody. There's nobody.
There's no one I know who's like, "I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
Dina,
I can't play tennis tonight.
I'm in the weeds here. I'm knee deep in
in
threesomes.
like-
I literally can't.
By the way, orgies are not like fantasy football where people are in like six
4 of them.
leagues and they just can't.
I'm in 6. I'm in a fantasy orgy.
I'm in a
A lot of
fantasy.
people are in fantasy orgies. That we get.
I benched my own penis this week in favor of
Auto bench.
Lamar Miller.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep. So group sex, let's keep it to a minimum, guys, because you never know unless you. There's no unless. You never know.
There is no unless. There's no unless. Thank you, New York City.
How many people are saying I can't wait till this pandemic is over because the first thing I'm going to do is get back to all those orgies I was.
Yes.
I mean, to me, most people are like, "Hey, I can't deal with the fact that I'm not interacting with like lots of people. I'm not at the workplace. I do feel like I need to get back on the subway." Or people are saying I can't.
Well,
I
look,
can't wait to get back to all those orgies I'm
I
missing.
wonder if there will be more of an openness towards group sex and experimentation once this is all over, because I think maybe there will be, because it's like, look, we just went through hell. We came out on the other side. Let's celebrate the fact that we got through this thing. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I doubt it. Part of me wants the entire sex memo to be read by the woman who reads off all the stops on the Long Island Railroad.
And instead of her saying next stop, Woodmere,
Next, you need to stop.
it'd be next, comma, stop.
Next stop, all Tinder. Stop orgies.
Next stop, sex with strangers.
Next stop, Cedarhurst. Next stop,
And it's always
Woodbury.
Next stop, Woodmere.
Woodmere, Cedarhurst, Inwood, Lawrence.
That woman needs to read that memo. I don't know where you are, lady, but please get on this.
Get in it.
Get on it. It'll go viral.
Let me say this.
Yes.
That don't go out. Definitely don't go out. Don't go out clubbing right now.
Yeah, I read this story about a Taiwanese man who got slapped with a huge fine.
You ready for how much he has to pay?
I know how much he has.
$33,000 for skipping his mandatory quarantine.
And going out clubbing. Do they still call it clubbing? Do people call it clubbing?
I think orca whales still call it clubbing.
Yeah, clubbing is if you go to more
many
than
clubs.
one club, right?
Club
If you-
hopping.
If you just went out to the
One
club,
That's going. You're up in the club.
so he was up in the club. This guy was up in a club when he should not have been up in a club.
How did he get up in that club?
He got up in this
How
club.
is the club still open? Aren't they the ones who are
This guy got so deep up in this club in Taiwan. He went up.
so deep he put her butt to sleep?
Look, this guy went up in the club And then he got found out, which
and
is so
fined
weird.
$33,000, which 33 sounds like entirely too much and too little to fine this guy.
Right, because if I was saying to myself, like, okay, here's the punishment I want to give this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
When I read this story, I'm like, this guy, don't charge him $33,000.
No.
He should have to pay for everyone's bottle service in the entire club.
For the rest of time.
But maybe even just
he
that
should
night,
ha-
even if it's just that night, I think that's more than $33,000.
Yeah.
So there's where it feels low. But $33,000 just because the guy went out. Now, if he's got the coronavirus,
This is what I'm saying.
Then-
He should have to have sex with.
Harvey
he should be
Weinstein.
ordered to have sex with Harvey Weinstein by Harvey Weinstein.
right? And that guy doesn't take no for an answer, which is horrible. But what I'm saying is, if he's not infected, if the guy is just normal, then why are we hawking this guy a chinik?
Yeah.
Which is a Yiddish phrase that there's nothing racist about what I just said.
Chinik.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, it is hawking a chinik.
Isn't that what it is?
Why are you giving this guy a hard time?
a hard time?
Is the
Why are you
Yiddish
giving him a hard
phrase.
time? That's the Yiddish phrase. If I'm wrong on my Yiddish, come check us. But
you
that's
better
what our
check
dad
your
used to say.
Yiddish before you riggedy wreck your Yiddish.
But that was a crazy story. Stay at home. I don't understand why people can't understand stay at home. And I drove over to your house to do this.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for telling people to stay at home.
Stay at home.
Thanks for being at my house.
Don't be an asshole.
I hope you guys are enjoying this. What do you want to see more of in this podcast, in this daily podcast?
Action and adventure. Those
Yeah.
are two things that we probably can't
we
deliver.
can't deliver those.
But we can deliver voicemails. And I think we're going to do a voicemail maybe at the end of this thing.
We are going to do a voicemail at the end of this thing. We'll send it your way. Again, we're the Sklar Brothers. Let's take a little break
We're
right
going to take
now.
a break. On the other side of this break, we're going to cover one more story, and we're going to give you a voicemail from our buddy Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is battling. He's doing his best to get through this.
I just love to hear what certain celebrities are doing in the time of how has his life been changed?
So-
Because you don't know much about him.
So this is the moment where some of that distance is stripped apart because, Madonna's in a bathtub telling us that the coronavirus doesn't know
It knows no
doesn't
boundary.
discriminate against wealth.
Yeah,
Thank you, Madonna. But now I
Maybe-
know what your bathroom looks like.
that's right. That's too much information.
It's like I don't need to know what the tiling is in Madonna's
it's too-
bathroom.
I don't know I don't want to know if the grout is gray
Or does it need to be
stone
redone?
color. Yeah, or stone color.
Like how far is her money going at this point?
yeah, that's a
It's
good
probably
question.
going far.
It is.
It's going farther than I want to know. So you're going to get a glimpse into Nicolas Cage's life on the other side of this break.
Scarborough Country, the virus edition. Stay with us.
I don't know when you got taller. See our reflection in the water.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. This is, please rate, review. If you're listening to this, you're watching this, rate it, review it, subscribe to it, tell friends about it. Hope, again, that we're giving you 30 minutes of a brief break in your day. And we want to talk about, we mentioned as we went into the break, and we'll get to a voicemail from Nicolas Cage in a little bit. But you got to hand it to the Mormons because this story happened. It's like the Mormons, to me, I feel like are operating in like 1988 time.
Right.
Like they still think Sean Bradley is good at basketball.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're just. Is Sean Bradley still alive?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
He's 7'7". Was he 7'7" or 7'6"?
I'm going to check right now. Is Sean Bradley still alive? And is Jorge Murasan still alive? I want you to guess on either of those.
I don't know. Check on both.
I'm going
of
to
those.
check on both.
I'm going
those,
to say Sean Bradley is still alive and Jorge Murasan is not still alive.
I'm checking.
And while you're checking, I'm just going to say this about Mormons. You're one letter away from morons. Let's not do dumb things that allow people to be like, look at how close that is. Pull
So-
the M out. Pull the M out, and what are we left with?
The Mormons are not nothing if,
So
if they're not supporting their missionaries.
So there are a lot of missionaries who are out around the world,
out in missionary position.
in missionary positions, trying to convert people, trying to say, hey, this is the way it is. We'll give you support. We'll give you love if you convert to our religion. Let me preach the ways, and that's fine. Usually people end up getting good things out of that.
Sean Bradley's still alive.
How old?
How old do you think he is?
49.
Born in 1972. He just 2 days ago celebrated his 48th birthday.
He's our age.
Sean Bradley.
Jorge Murasan's 54. And I don't know if he's still alive, but Sean Bradley, I'm glad you're still alive. Channel Giant. Fantastic.
Okay, Jorge Murasan.
And then we'll get to the story about the Mormons because
still alive.
how old? 53?
born February 14th, 1971. So he's only like 11
49.
months older than
He's
us.
only 11 months older than
These
us.
guys should play one-on-one.
Okay,
They
so
should.
yeah.
There should be a buddy comedy between Sean Bradley and Jorge Mirasan.
So Lou's
where they
the comedian.
They go down on a missionary trip together,
Right.
but one of them is hiding from the cops.
Love it. I'm in. So
It's called Big and Tall.
Rochester, big and tall. So here's the deal. These Mormons went on a mission and they called them all back from the Philippines, 1,600 of them.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, you guys are coming back from your mission. We're going to greet you at the airport. Now, they've been gone for a while, and I
By
understand.
the way, who greets people at airports anymore?
Remember that? The good old days?
1988. Mormons are operating on a 1988 this
Like
There is,
paradigm.
there is no full faith in the church. There is no social media. Nobody can catch. Only
No
believe
such
in
thing
the
as
elders.
sexual
That's right.
harassment.
That's right. It's 1988 price. You know how they say 1988, 1972 prices? There was a restaurant in St. Louis called the Pasta House Company. They give you 1972 prices on the Cavatelli. They're operating on 1988 principles. The Mormon.
So they showed up. The church instructed everyone at the airport to stay in their cars.
Which I guess that's
Sort of.
yeah, but
I
why are
guess
you
can
there?
Show up in the
Why
car.
are you there?
You're there to celebrate these
To
people
welcome them coming home. Okay, fine.
I'm all for that.
By the way, like if you are a missionary and you go down and you do your job and you try and build a school or a hospital inside of a school and whatever, we've always said this, just do it and then leave. If you come back home, do you need the celebration? Do you need people there? No, do the work. God will see it.
All right.
Won't she?
Yes. So there it is. They all show up and they all disobey, get out of their cars.
Of course they did.
Start congregating in a massive group.
Because
which
it's 88.
is exactly so they're going to quarantine all the people who were gone for
Yes.
1,600 people are gone.
God knows what
But you got to
happened.
quarantine all the people who showed up to see them.
That's right.
Don't do that.
I'm saying take
Why
it-
is that hard?
take them all and put them down in a Chilean mine.
Remember in the Chilean mine. All right. So I'm sure you guys remember the Chilean mine.
I mean, who could forget the good old days when the Chilean mine was
the worst thing
the
we had
biggest
to
thing
deal
on our
with.
mind.
So the Chilean miners got trapped in the Chilean mine.
And somebody like wanted to exercise while he
Yeah,
was
one
down
guy
there.
was training for a marathon.
Which-
and I'm sure the other people down in the mine were
Hey,
like,
hey, stop kicking up the dust there.
yeah,
What are you
you're
running
done.
in place?
I'm glad you're getting good for your marathon because you're deteriorating my lungs.
Yeah,
lungs
my
by-
respiratory condition. Now he's got an underlying condition. Everybody who was around this guy who was running in place.
Little did that guy know that he was making people
Putting them
unsafe
at
for
risk.
this
That's right.
current
That's right.
apocalyptic
That's right.
thing that's befallen all
But
of us.
didn't someone come out and he was greeted by both his mistress and his wife?
When he
That's
came
a
out of the
hell
Chilean
of a way to find out. Although, he came out and was like, he sees my honey.
I got
Here's
good news and I got bad news.
Good news is I'm alive.
Bad news is
Meet Cheryl.
Meet Cheryl. Your understudy.
So
Or maybe he was understudy. I don't know. don't
I
know how he
can't
liked
believe they all gathered outside to
ju-
meet people at the airport.
You know what? It's like let's be smarter. Can we be smarter? Can we try and be smarter? I would love to see it.
I'm gonna one more story and then we'll go to this voicemail because this happened and I want to talk about it because really people are, and I'm sure you guys are feeling this way too, getting a little sick of their families. Like I feel like my whole family feels like a married couple that's been married for like 35 years. You know how married couples that work in 35, they know each other too well.
Right. Like when someone just without any intention in their voice says dad and you're like, "What?" That the what that you throw back tells you how comfortable you are with someone.
Yeah. My youngest daughter is like,
I love you. That's what they
yeah,
just wanna say. I just
no.
wanna
She
say I
calls
love-
me dad. I'm like, what? I don't know how to find the volume of a rectangular trapezoid. I don't know how to do it. She's like, I just want to tell you I love you.
You're like, "Oh man. I'm a jerk."
That's what happens when people who know each other really well are now forced to
be
spend
with
too
each
much
other
time
too
together
much.
because you're just not used to it. You got to figure out a time to be like, look, I know we're in the same house, but I can't talk to you for 4 hours.
No.
I need 4 hours to just not talk to anybody or not to. I love you. I love this time that we're having together, but don't show me a math problem.
I understand now. There was a guy who was in this neighborhood before we get to the story called the Walking Doctor.
Yeah, in my neighborhood.
and he used to walk.
Well, he was walking away from something.
He was walking away
He
from
walked
something.
20 miles a day.
20 miles a day.
Reading the paper, which is stupid. Like you're literally reading the paper
Might
while
as well
you're
be
going to trip.
texting.
That's right. That's worse than texting.
So he's walking around reading the paper, and then on some weird level, as this thing continues and as there is no end in sight, I'm like, I get it. I started taking walks in my neighborhood.
Yeah, you're just like,
Up the hill, and I'm like, this is not. There's nothing fun about what I'm doing heading up this hill right now.
but I'm by myself.
But I'm by myself.
And no one's
I'm-
asked me anything.
I'm listening to music like
Yeah.
just rap songs
full
that are
control.
filthy rap songs.
Full control. You could be listening to this podcast when you go out and take that walk.
Do it.
We
Get
hope that
away
you
from
do.
your family for 30 minutes.
All right, so that's people who know each other. My question now is, what about people who are sheltering in place who have they're newly
like they just moved in with each other.
or they just met. So this happened in England. A woman who was on the British Tinder. It's called Hinge.
Does that swipe right to left?
I think it swipes on the other side, other side of the street.
Yeah.
Hinge. Hinge is what it's called. Like to me, which is such a more proper, but it's like your whole life hinges on it.
We go hinge.
It hinges on it.
I talked to him and we got hinge.
It hinges on it. So
Where'd we meet?
It's
we
a
met
bit-
on hinge.
but your whole life hinges and it swings into another way. In America, it's, and maybe it is in Europe too, but
Tinder
it's
is like
Tinder.
a fire.
Tinder, just
Like
burn it
kindling.
down.
Yeah.
Well, how's it going in your life? I don't know. I'm thinking about burning it down. I'm going on Tinder. Well, that sounds dangerous. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Tinder.
That's
We're
why I'm
burning it
doing
all
it.
down. We don't care. That's what it is. That's the difference. You're literally swinging your life down.
So, a woman in England on Hinge became unhinged.
became unhinged a
Because
little
of
bit
what?
because she was on a hinge date, met a guy 5 days before, and then he was over at the house, and then they had to shelter in place.
Why? They don't have to.
He
shelter.
said they had to shelter in place.
That
So
is
now they are
BS.
together. They're sheltered in place. How difficult is that?
Why can't he just go back to his own
He
place?
can't. He's not allowed.
Why?
He's not allowed. He maybe he wants to be there.
He's
But
making
imagine
it up.
that-
He's making this
Imagine
up. I'm
going
sorry. He's
through-
making up the fact that he has to stay.
The
there.
idea of like having to take a dump in front of this
no,
person.
She thinks that they have to do it. There probably isn't even a shelter in place.
I think this
He's
should
allowed
be
to
a
go
new.
home.
This should be like the new Love Island or whatever it is. Whatever the British show is. Love. What's the
Love
one? thing-
Actually?
Not Love Actually. It's like freeze dried love. Whatever. There's like a Netflix show where it's like people just meet and they have to get married right away.
Well, to me, that's The Bachelorette.
No, you shelter in place with this person, and that tells you who you like. Boom, you meet this person.
This is a rom-com. This is a romantic comedy, okay? I've said this and I will put this out there in this moment. I've said it over and over again in my life and
Say
maybe
it.
on podcasts
Say it.
before.
Say it.
I've said that if Failure to Launch and The Wedding Planner and all those romantic comedies
Yeah.
that Matthew McConaughey was in, if he did those romantic comedies at the weight that he was in Dallas Buyers Club,
different movie.
120 pounds,
Failure to Lunch.
Failure to Lunch.
Different movie.
It's a different movie. It adds new stakes to
Yeah,
it. Is
'cause
he
you're-
sick?
but you
Is
don't
he
make
not?
any mention of the fact that
That's
he's
how
only 120
desperate these women are to get married. They're like, "Is he sick? I don't know.
I don't know, but
So in this case,
I got him for the time I got him.
and I got a ring. I got a man. So I got a man.
What's your man got to do with me?
I got a man.
I'm not trying to hear that. See,
I got a man.
what's your man trying to do with me?
I got a man.
So that would be great. Speaking of great, as we mentioned, we talk as we bring this thing back to the celebrity.
Yes.
I think they should have to shelter in place, by the way, those people, and I think they should have to formulate their relationship. It's going to have to start from the inside out. You know how you kind of start from the outside and you peel away all the layers. You're going to get to see everything.
Okay, so that is this is a recommendation. We're hitting on a rec right now. If you have not watched our good buddy Rob Delaney's wonderful show
Catastrophe, amazing on Amazon. If you've got it, Amazon Prime, watch it.
Brits, check it out. Americans, check it out.
It's such a good show. This is not like a new thing, but if it's something that if you haven't seen it and you're looking for something to watch and you just want to tear through several episodes, it is fantastic.
And
Sharon,
in many
Sharon
ways-
Horgan, Rob Delaney, in many ways, it is kind of this idea, but in an interesting way.
They have an affair,
one-night stand and
a
affair.
one-night stand, and then
It's all about their life after that.
how and
Making it work, trying to make it work after that. It is
getting
fascinating.
to know someone from the inside out.
Right. So that's what this is about. Definitely check that out. as we mentioned before, Nick Cage, is life for him is either changing or it's not changing. He either likes it or he doesn't. He left us a voicemail, and we're going to listen to that right now. Check it out.
Jason, Randy, how's it going? It's Nicolas Cage here, just fucking wrecking shop like I always do. You know, people say to you, hey, Nicolas Cage, how are you dealing with the coronavirus? And I have 2 words for you, fucking awesome. Because, guys, here's the deal. Nicolas Cage only operates at one speed, and that speed is 4,000 miles per hour. And you know what can't catch you at 4,000 miles per hour? Yeah, a virus. So check it out, guys. I've been spending a bulk of my days when I'm not inside my house. For God's sake, stay in your goddamn house if you don't have to. But if you do, get on your motorcycle and just ride like the wind, because, you know, there's, like I said, going 4,000 miles per hour like the Ghost Rider, like the spirit of vengeance. You cannot be caught by a virus, and that's science. Ah, yeah, guys, here's the deal. When I was told that I was not able to be anywhere near anybody for, you know, to keep my social distance, I was like, fucking sweet. Because I don't want to see any of my 4 ex-wives, and now they have every reason to stay away from me, so you will be getting no more money from Cage. Yeah, Cage, awesome. And then I heard that people were going to be stuck inside their houses. And I was like, hey, you know who's got 29 movies that are currently streaming on VOD? Yeah, that's right, Nicolas Cage. Boom. Guess who's going to be getting a huge influx of money now? Nicolas Cage. Yeah, guys, look, these are very serious times, but never forget that Cage is here for you. Don't call me, don't write me, don't look at me, don't touch me, but seriously, watch my movies. Cage out.
Yeah, he's just driving around. I think he thinks he can outrun the coronavirus, which maybe he's right. Look, in the moments like this, it's when the Nick Cages, the Vince Neils.
Like when we're so desperate and we're in a place where we're so vulnerable.
I think you almost have to look to them.
Well, if I
Like
hear
he did-
something so crazy, like I will admit this. I heard someone say, like, look, you know, maybe let's do a thing where if you're over 70, you got to stay at home. You're quarantined forever.
Yeah.
If you're
Done.
for a long time, for 2 years,
Done.
until we come with a vaccine, you're quarantined forever. Everyone else, if you got a sniffle or a cold, you got to stay home. If you don't, you go to jail.
That's right.
The rest of us, we're going to go out and live our lives and keep the economy going so the whole world doesn't fall apart. And I heard that idea and I was like, that's not a bad idea. And
Okay,
I'm like,
now
that's
you're starting. That's a horrible idea.
What? That's a
now you're
terrible
starting
idea.
to buy into these
No,
things.
because you're just like, I need a solution.
Right.
I need something. Nick Cage.
Nick Cage
Maybe he
offering.
has the answers. I don't know. All we know is that we are going to come back here every single day.
And give you a little something of what you want. It's Scarborough Country, the virus edition. I hope you enjoy this. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Canadian couple that drove a trailer up and cleaned out a meat freezer.
And now they're facing backlash.
They're facing backlash, and they're playing the victims. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Scarborough Country, the virus episodes. Thanks for passing this along.
Send this to 10 of your friends if you're digging it.
Subscribe it, rate it, review it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.